Kamala spent 100 days telling voters, I know it feels like crime and illegal immigration are bad, but f your feelings. Look at this chart. Have you seen my "In this house we believe" lawn sign? See, it says right on it, we believe in science. Right, which is why you demanded no one even debate whether COVID could have escaped from the one lab in the one city where they were studying it. How far-fetched.
Recently, we released a video breaking down how Bill Maher, yes, that same outspoken liberal, absolutely torched his own party's presidential pick, Kamala Harris. What we didn't fully unpack, though, was the messy backstory behind that moment. And trust me, it's worth digging into. Why would Maher go after someone he actually voted for? And why did he even toss a few compliments in Trump's direction? Buckle up, because that's exactly what we're covering today. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that button so you don't miss what's next. All right, enough build-up, let's jump in.
Harris would be the first woman president, first black woman president, and first Asian president. But I don't vote for who will be the first. I vote for who will win. And for whatever reason, Harris has never been popular. You can count the number of delegates she won in the 2020 primaries on one hand, as long as that hand has no finger.
The first and most obvious reason Maher couldn't get behind Kamala Harris was her lack of popularity. She struggled to connect not only with conservatives, but even with voters in her own party. That didn't stop her campaign from trying to manufacture enthusiasm anyway. They leaned hard into celebrity endorsements, social media moments, and influencer-style appearances, hoping fame would translate into votes. There were awkward skits, staged cooking bits, and even dance clips meant to show how relatable she was. Maher wasn't fooled. He mocked the idea that online trends could replace real leadership, pointing out that voters usually want substance, not viral clips. Some defenders argued she just didn't have enough time to campaign, but Maher dismissed that excuse entirely. In his view, the real problem was deeper. Voters were frustrated with Democratic policies they found out of touch, from costly green mandates to lenient crime approaches that left communities uneasy. Add rising prices and public safety concerns, and Harris's struggles made more sense. Maher also pointed to another factor that sealed it for him: her perceived lack of competence.
In 3 years as vice president, she's been quieter than an electric car. Sometimes life isn't fair. It's not fair that she's not popular. She's intelligent and accomplished, and in fact was put in charge of the border. And look at how... Okay, bad example.
Beyond being unpopular, Kamala Harris also drew criticism from Maher for how she handled major responsibilities. One of the biggest was the border issue, a task she was publicly assigned and closely associated with. Instead of taking a clear, hands-on approach, her involvement often seemed limited and delayed. When she finally visited the border after months of pressure, many felt it looked more like a photo opportunity than decisive action. Her messaging focused on broad explanations and indirect solutions, which left critics unconvinced. Maher argued that leadership requires clarity and follow-through, not vague talking points. For those who doubt that assessment, clips from interviews during that period highlight why her handling of the situation became such a liability.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem.
As border crossings increased and cities struggled to cope, frustration grew. Harris's responses to tough questions often came across as long on words but short on answers. Critics compared her explanations to filler-heavy speeches that avoided the core issue. To Maher, the border situation wasn't just one failed policy. It symbolized what could happen under her leadership. Instead of confronting problems directly, she appeared to sidestep accountability. That pattern didn't go unnoticed, even among liberals. Maher, despite sharing her party affiliation, openly acknowledged the damage this approach caused. And that brings us to the third major reason he went after her so hard: credibility and honesty.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I'm not afraid of good ideas where they occurred,
So
Anderson.
you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some.
Harris had once been one of the loudest critics of Trump's border wall, calling it wasteful and unnecessary during her 2019 campaign. She backed that stance with votes against funding it. Years later, however, the administration approved additional wall construction in Texas. When asked about it publicly, Harris denied it outright. Journalists, including Anderson Cooper, pointed out that the Department of Homeland Security had already confirmed the project. The exchange became a defining moment, with critics saying it showed a refusal to acknowledge reality. Maher and many others saw it as another example of evasiveness that undermined trust. This led into the fourth reason Maher turned on his own side: policies that felt outdated or disconnected.
A shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism. Kamala spent 100 days telling voters, I know it feels like crime and illegal immigration are bad, but feelings, look at this chart. Have you seen my "In this house we believe" lawn sign? See, it says right on it, we believe in science. Right, which is why you demanded no one even debate whether COVID could have escaped from the one lab in the one city where they were studying it. How far-fetched.
Some progressive ideas struck Maher as so extreme that even longtime liberals questioned them. Debates around fairness in women's sports became a flashpoint, with critics arguing that biological differences were being ignored. Raising concerns often led to backlash instead of discussion. Maher also highlighted what he saw as contradictions within activist movements, pointing out how slogans and alliances didn't always align with real-world values. He wasn't attacking people, but rather calling attention to inconsistencies that weakened serious debate. For Maher, these moments showed how ideology was sometimes prioritized over common sense. And that set the stage for his final critique: Harris's communication style.
It's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future.
The last straw for Maher was what he described as Harris's habit of giving long, confusing answers when put on the spot. Instead of direct responses, she often relied on abstract language that left listeners unsure of her point. Critics joked that her statements sounded like they circled an answer without ever landing on one. Maher imagined how damaging that could be on an international stage, where clarity matters. Allies might be confused, and rivals could see weakness. In his view, leadership under pressure requires precision, not verbal detours. That concern led Maher to question her future ambitions altogether.
Kamala Harris run for California governor in 2026 after polls show her leading. I'm going to give that a big no.
She's had her chance several times.
She should run far, far away.
Yeah, I think Kamala Harris would make a great president of a university.
Maher went as far as saying he didn't see Harris as a strong candidate for any major executive role, including governor of California. He argued that if she struggled as vice president, managing a complex state would be even harder. California already faces serious challenges, from crime to homelessness to businesses leaving the state. Maher suggested those problems demand decisive leadership, not vague rhetoric. As a lifelong Californian, he made it clear he wasn't convinced Harris was up to the task. And Maher wasn't alone. Comedian Rob Schneider also weighed in with sharp criticism.
All I know is that nobody voted for Kamala. They just said, okay, you're it. They did this in 2016. Bernie Sanders, he was the guy that got all the votes in the primary. Like, we just give it to Hillary. And in 2020, just everybody drop out, just give it to Biden. And then this year, it's like, everybody figured it out. His brain doesn't work. Let's just get Kamala. You know? Here's what you have. You have somebody that nobody voted for, and you got somebody they tried to murder 2 times. I don't know which one's probably going to hold up democracy.
Schneider argued that Harris never built genuine grassroots support. Instead, he claimed she was elevated by party leadership rather than voters. According to him, that lack of public backing showed in her performance. He contrasted that with Donald Trump, who consistently drew large crowds and strong primary support. Schneider emphasized the difference in energy and connection with voters. Regardless of where people stand politically, the contrast between the two figures was obvious to him.
She's better. No, let me tell you, Kamala, she does different accents, you know, depending on where she is, you know, down south. Let me tell you something. You boys better get it together here and vote. Save democracy. Black community, she's like, shit, let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you right now, we ain't vote for Trump, I even saw her at a 7-Eleven going like, listen, it's very important that we vote for the Democrats. We're trying to save democracy here. We're trying to save democracy.
Schneider also questioned Harris's authenticity, saying she often seemed to change her speaking style depending on the audience. He criticized what he viewed as forced accents and awkward attempts to relate. For Schneider, authenticity is essential in leadership, and he believed voters quickly sense when someone isn't being genuine. He contrasted that with Trump, whose style, for better or worse, remains consistent. Schneider argued that inconsistency erodes trust, and trust is something Harris struggled to maintain.
Democrats still seem confused as to why they lost this election. They want to think it has something to do with misogyny or racism. Well, let me clear it up for those still bewildered Democrats. You lost because you tried to tell the American people that the economy was great when they couldn't afford to buy groceries. You lost because you ran a moron in place of a president you knew was a corpse attached to a car battery.
Like Maher, Schneider also blamed Democratic leadership for broader failures. He said voters felt misled on multiple issues, from economic conditions to political messaging, insisting everything was fine while many Americans felt financial pressure only deepened skepticism. Schneider argued that repeated exaggerations and dismissals of public concern eventually backfired. By 2024, he said, many voters had simply stopped believing the narrative they were being sold.
Trump's going back to where they tried to kill him. That's right. Well, hopefully they'll have better security this time. You know, the Secret Service, they knew about the guy 52 minutes beforehand. They have not released the audio from the body cam, and I don't think they ever will. But if they do, I bet it would sound something like this. You see that up there? What? Up there. He's got a gun. What do you think he wants? I don't know, it's not duck season.
Schneider also pushed back against constant comparisons between Trump and historical dictators. He argued that extreme rhetoric lost its impact over time. After years of dramatic warnings, many Americans stopped taking those claims seriously. Schneider pointed out that exaggeration can undermine legitimate criticism. When everything is labeled a crisis, nothing feels credible anymore. That erosion of trust, he said, played a major role in shifting public opinion.
The woman that you're supporting, Kamala Harris, and her running mate, Wall's paper, they said that the free speech, they describe it as a privilege. Now, this is either they're constitutionally ignorant or they're knowingly false, because it is a guaranteed First Amendment right for all Americans. It is not a privilege like a driver's license. When you are born in America, you have the right to speak your mind, and it isn't the nice stuff that needs protecting. It's the stuff that everybody disagrees with. It's the stuff that maybe is not nice, but that needs to be protecting too, because if someone's going to decide what free speech that you say and what I say, if it's going to be the government, they're always going to do what's best for the government. So we need to protect all speech.
On the topic of free speech, Schneider challenged supporters who argued for tighter control over online discourse. He maintained that free expression only matters if it applies to everyone, including those with unpopular views. He referenced moments when attempts to control narratives sparked backlash instead. For Schneider, open debate, not censorship, is the foundation of democracy. Losing control of that debate, he argued, revealed how uncomfortable some were with opposing opinions.
Happened in L.A. The chief of the fire department, she put this out on her website for the L.A. Fire Department. A gay man, asked her, "Would you be able to carry my husband out in case of a fire?" And she said, "Well, if I have to carry your husband out, he got himself in a bad spot." See, that's precisely the point why he needs to get rescued. You don't want a fireman coming over going, "Yeah, fire department's here. All right, hope you're not in a bad spot. You're dead."
Whether you agree with them or not, Bill Maher and Rob Schneider are known for speaking plainly. They don't shy away from criticizing their own side when they believe it's necessary. In a media environment full of scripted messaging, that bluntness stands out. Maher calls out what he sees as failed policies, while Schneider highlights hypocrisy and double standards. Together, they represent a willingness to challenge narratives rather than follow them. And that honesty many viewers feel is refreshing. So that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.